Before I get into this video, I'd just like to say that this theory is based off a post which I saw on Reddit by this user. This theory is really cool, and I've spoken to them about taking ideas from their post to try and make it into some sort of video. I'm also making this video because it's been over 2 months since the last Minecraft lore. Oh no. Anyways, it's been a few moments since the last Minecraft lore theory by the game theorists, and I mean, that's just way too long. I mean, a few minutes? There are literally godlike ideas sitting on this subreddit which I refuse to allow to be ignored. Also, I spent ages on these videos, yet only a microscopic amount of people are subscribed. So if you find yourself enjoying the video or you find this video interesting, please subscribe. It literally takes seconds, which is a relatively small amount of time. Done? Here we go. Our theory starts out with a rather ambiguous statement. What if I told you that Minecraft is just a simulation? That's right, Steve or Alex are not in the real Minecraft world. Minecraft is a video game inside of a video game. Now I know that sounds crazy and extremely far-fetched, but let me tell you why. First, MatPat is going to very quickly summarise what we have already concluded about the implicit Minecraft lore.
There was once a great civilization of builders in this game, a civilization that built temples and mines long ago and then was forced to abandon them all for some unknown reason.
Some unknown reason? Interesting. The only reason I can think of is the Wither. After all, why else would the builders need to flee the overworld? But even the Wither, arguably the strongest mob in the overworld, apart from the baby zombie, is extremely far-fetched to have potentially caused an extinction level event. Think about it. How could an entire race with powerful diamond gear, we know this from their chests in the end cities, and iron golems not defeat the Wither, but we can in plain iron armour by ourselves? On the topic of being by ourselves, why is it that we're seemingly alone in this universe? Out of the 40 plus entities in the Minecraft world, we are the only one who possesses any intelligence and knowledge on how to build, fight, and more importantly, craft. Steve knows every single recipe before even discovering the materials required to craft those recipes. Isn't that a bit strange? We are alone in this universe, possessing overpowered abilities, whilst everyone else is just living instinctually. I mean, other than the Minecraft world structures, there is literally no other pieces of evidence to support the existence of an ancient race. Heck, even if the ancient race of builders did summon the Wither, which ultimately led them to hiding underground in a stronghold, there is no evidence to point towards the Wither ever roaming the land in the first place. The Wither doesn't despawn, so surely it would be there, waiting for its next victim, when we arrive. There doesn't appear to be any visible evidence of destruction caused by a giant monster like the Wither. Therefore, it can't have been summoned in the first place. In fact, the only evidence in the whole game of the Wither's past existence is that strange Wither painting, which, funny enough, doesn't even show the Wither itself, but rather the materials and setup required to summon the Wither. It's almost like it's encouraging you to lay out those materials with that specific setup to then summon and battle the Wither. But that's not all. There are other things in this Minecraft universe that just can't really be explained, they just don't sit right. For example, have you ever considered it slightly bizarre that one of the ways to obtain music discs is by a skeleton shooting and killing a creeper? Isn't that just weird? Another thing that's extremely bizarre is that Steve has no background. He just kind of spawns in, seemingly relatively old, yet he has no house, family or childhood. Even the Minecraft book, The Island, by Max Brooks, which is a great read by the way, reinforces the fact that Steve just appeared. The book literally opens with the following. Drowning. I woke up underwater, deep underwater, and this was my first conscious thought. Cold, dark, where was the surface? So how does all of this point towards the fact that Minecraft is a simulation? Well, all of these occurrences are just a bit too coincidental. It just feels too much like a simulated, fabricated reality. The fact that we are alone and unique, and that we just appeared out of nowhere with no background or memories, is so abnormal. There is no concrete evidence to point towards how an ancient race of builders went extinct. Even if they did somehow make it to the end, wouldn't the end portal still be lit when we get there? As far as I'm aware, the end portal can't just unlight itself, and that's not to mention all the weird mechanics in the game, like discs dropping from creepers, out of all mobs, and even spawners just feel like a lazy excuse to find a way to make certain mobs spawn. Even redstone is a bit odd, like how on earth is this dust conducting energy so perfectly? How does it almost act as an energy amplifier, meaning the flick of a lever can cause a 20,000 kilogram gold block to be elevated by some piston contraption, and that's just one gold block. To me, it feels like there was indeed once an ancient race of builders, which once roamed a Minecraft world similar to the one we appear to be in. These builders were obsessed with progress, creating beasts like iron golems and monsters like the Wither. However, their progression brought many dangers. For example, when the Wither ended up causing more catastrophe than they had ever intended, they realised the risk of extinction from their obsession with progression was too high. They could very easily create something more deadly than the Wither, which could wipe them out with relative ease. So they planned an escape route. They built a stronghold and a portal which they would eventually use to go to the end. The Ender Dragon put up a massive fight, but they ended up coming out victorious. Barely, as they didn't come prepared with the correct equipment. So they lived in fear as to what they could possibly discover next. Therefore, they vowed to halt all progress to preserve their race. But they still wanted to find a way to improve and to progress and to advance. After all, they had been obsessed with it for decades. They couldn't just stop like that. So they pulled together their resources. The Minecraft world is extremely rich in resources, with perfect energy transmitters and possibly amplifiers like redstone, metal elements like iron and copper, and even wonder elements like soul sand. The idea of creating a virtual universe doesn't really feel like that much of a stretch. Furthermore, the Minecraft world is about 3.6 billion square kilometers in size compared to our Earth's 500 million square kilometers, meaning that it's unlikely that this ancient race of builders were ever short of resources, especially with wonder materials like redstone, soul sand and chorus fruits, which could greatly assist in making some form of simulated universe. This meant that the ancient race of builders were free to play around with an entire universe which was completely free of risks. Their reality was preserved and defended, and they could carry out tests and improve and enhance themselves by playing around in a ginormous simulated universe with a little blue man called Steve.